Okay, so welcome everybody. Today we're going to play a game called The Roottrees Are Dead. This is the Steam version for PC that I'm playing. I don't know if there are any other versions out there. I came across this game by not watching the playthrough on Gad Smolder's channel. The reason why I didn't watch it was I watched for the first 5 minutes and then I thought, okay, maybe I want to play this game myself. But since this is a lot puzzle based, if you watch it, I think it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to unsee what you have seen. So, the Butler County Times, Butler, Pennsylvania, Sunday, December 6th, 1998. The Roottrees are dead. What happened? The plane crashed last night north of Pittsburgh. The only passengers were Carl Roottree and his 3 daughters, known as the Roottree sisters. Carl Roottree was the president of Roottrees Candy Company, and it's not clear who will succeed him. So far, local police are not sure what caused the crash, but we are told that an active investigation is underway. It's being called the most high-profile plane crash in Pennsylvanian history. All passengers and flight crew perished. Pittsburgh is generally known for pleasant flying conditions, and the weather was not atypical for this time of year. We do not know much at this time, but our sources tell us that local authorities do not suspect terrorism. Which is interesting because 1998 was before 9/11, so back then terrorism was something that didn't really reach American soil as much as it has reached European soil for centuries. So that's interesting that they would put it in here, which of course tells you that this game was written way after 1998. We do not know much at this time, blah, blah, blah. The crash did not cause any local property damage. Unfortunately, nobody outside the plane was hurt. Funeral plans have not been announced, but you can be sure that the Butler County Times will cover it to the best of our abilities. Where's the mum in all this? Are they orphans? Were they half orphaned? Okay, let's see. First of all, I'm gonna set myself a timer of 1 hour. Of playtime. Okay, let's get started. New game. Okay. December 6th, 1998.
The plane that crashed last night just outside of Pittsburgh is now known to have been the private jet of the Roottrees Corporation. Local aviation authorities have speculated, based on the pilot's final communication, that the winter storm and heavy winds played a significant role in the crash. On board were multiple family members, including corporate president Carl Roottree and his daughters, the Roottrees sisters, best known for their fashion lines and modeling careers. There were no survivors. Again, for those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.
Okay, now this is completely different from what we read in the paper, because in the paper we were told, oh.
I know it's late, but I'm guessing you've seen the news. In addition to dealing with the grief, the Roottrees company's lawyers are scrambling. Everything's about to change. Anyone proven to be a blood relative is about to get much richer. I'm here to ensure everyone is accounted for.
Oh, yes, sure you do.
I've heard you're an expert at sorting out complicated family trees. A genealogy genie, as it were. I'm going to give you a quick test. Pass, and I can promise you the job of a lifetime.
Okay. Okay, well, first of all, going back to... Is there a way we can change the... Okay. Sleuth. Can we actually turn down the music? Yeah. Because I like jazz as much as the next guy, but this is really loud. Okay, so as I was saying, this is in complete contrast to what it said in the paper that we just read, because it said that the flying weather was fine and benign and everything. Now we're told that there was a storm. So either that is already the sign that there's something weird going on, or they didn't really do a good job editing the game. So, you know, I'm not impressed at the moment. We'll see. Okay, so unknown spouse, unknown name. So the oldest one is married. Okay, so examine my evidence. The person who hired you gave you this photo with a note attached. This was taken during the shoot for the Roottrees sisters Got Milk ad. I've tracked down a test photo from before they painted the fake moustaches on, which I thought would be more appropriate considering the circumstances. They look very young. The ad's copy reads, "You might recognize our faces from the magazine you're reading, or you might recognize our name from the candy bar you're eating. Being a Rootree is a full-time job, but so is growing up. That's why the calcium found in milk is so important. Plus, you can't make chocolate without it." Okay. Okay, so she is the one that's married because she's wearing an engagement ring. And it would make sense because she does look older than the other ones. This one is wearing a watch. And is the tomboy because she's wearing male attire, sort of. Let's be really super... Okay, let's see. This list was provided to you by the mysterious person who showed up at your door. You'll need to fill in the family tree. Eloise Anderson Gwyneth, Deborah Bean, Laura Carlson. Okay, Roottrees. Oh my god, here are the Roottrees. Candy, Carly, Gwendolyn, Gwyn, Christina, Lauren, Margolite, November, Raina, Riley, Samantha, and Tessa. And then we've got the Carl, Clancy, Edward, Clancy Jr., Edward. Okay. 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 Oh, the style up tone. Oh, isn't that cute? Spider search pro tip. You can create notes quickly by highlighting text with your mouse. Okay. Okay. Netscape Explorer's history feature. Got Milk is a series of advertisements for milk funded by dairy farms that features celebrities with milk mustaches. The Roottrees sisters did an ad that used a modified well, yeah. The ad mentions they are models on magazine covers and are also say, okay, let's take a look if we can find Roottrees Candy Company. Mixed in with recent news of the plane crash, there are a lot of results for Roottrees' extremely popular candy products. Their official website is unstable due to the traffic it's been receiving. However, you find a direct link to the history section that manages to work momentarily. The Roottrees Candy Company was founded by Elias Roottrees shortly after he married his wife Gwyneth, whose family owned a small farm called the Anderson Maple Farm. For reasons that aren't explained, okay, so what we're going to do is, what was it? Like you could highlight these and then copy. For reasons that aren't explained on the page, it has no CEO and no stockholders. Instead, it's run by a president with input and votes from extended family. The site does mention that every president has been a direct descendant of Elias and Gwyneth, including Carl Roottrees, who despite his death is listed as the current president. Well, I mean, let's face it, he just died like seconds ago, so okay. The product that put them on the map were 5 pieces, maple candies with 5 different flavors that are dipped in a crispy, crackly candy coating. Since then, they have branched out to countless other products, all of which incorporate maple in some way. Well, I mean, yeah, it's the Anderson Maple Farm after all, so yeah, it does make sense. Since then, they have blah, blah, blah. Their sister company, simply titled Root, specializes in children's clothing. The primary models for Root are the Roottrees sisters. Root is a pretty common word. Although searches are not case sensitive, if you're searching for something specific, you should keep an eye on how it's spelled and punctuated during your research. For example, the clothing company Root always has a period after it, even if it's not at the end of a sentence. Okay. Root period. The period is part of the name. It's a clothing company. They make clothes for children from toddlers to teenagers. Although their website is down, likely due to increased web traffic, you find countless retail sites attempting to advertise their clothes toward the target audience. One of them has this to say: "You've spied the Roottrees sisters looking hella fly on catalogs, magazines, and posters. Now you too can be like Riley, Rose, or Raina." You also come across a website from a collector of clothing catalogs. Apparently, Root Dot has released 2 catalogs per year every year since 1984, and Raina appeared on almost all of them. There is only one that the webmaster considers a collector's item enough to mention. It seems that Brenda Roottrees, the Roottrees sisters' mother and Root Dot's head designer, appeared on one cover holding her daughter Rose in 1985. Okay. The site says this was the only time her daughter was ever listed with her birth name Carly Roottrees. Okay, so Rose was born in 1985. Carly Roottrees is her real name. The mother is called Brenda Roottrees. Raina appeared in almost all of them. So Raina must be the eldest and Rose must be second in line. Okay. Which means that Riley is the youngest. There are lots of obituaries that focus on the Roottrees sisters' modeling careers. You also come across an unofficial Roottrees fan site, seemingly curated by a teenager. It's neon pink with purple text and hard to read until you highlight the words. The young webmaster writes, Raina is the most famous because she's the oldest, haha, and got married to TMS. Okay, but Riley is the smart one. Rose is the middle child, like me. You might think that they are rich just because they are models, but their dad is also the president of a candy company, and their mom Brenda is a fashion designer. They do the modeling for her brand Root Dot. I eat Roottrees candy all the time. My favorite are maple crisps, and try to dress in plain Root Dot clothes like Riley does in most of the posters. Someday I want to get my ears pierced like Rose. The website's author continues to talk about her own life and what she likes about the Root Dot fashion lines, but none of it is relevant. Okay, so Rose is the middle child. Let's see. Do we have Rose as the... Yeah, because she is the Kali. Yeah. Okay, so we got that right. So she got married to TMS. TMS is a common abbreviation for early 90s teen heartthrob Tommy Mark Sheridan. Let's see. Can we copy this and put this in here? Here he is. Okay. So they married a year ago. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. She's the smart one. Which leaves us with the youngest, the middle child. Yeah. The occupations. Now that's gonna be... She must be a student. Model. So are they all models? Okay. Okay, that was a bit easy. Oh. Yeah, well, booyah! Uh-huh. Okay.
Sorry to test you, but I had to be sure you could use the internet. Some folks refuse to get with the times. Safe to say, you're hired.
Yep.
The reward for untangling the family tree is substantial. Life-changing, even. But here's the catch. The Roottrees go way, way back. The family tree's a bit daunting. Most people freak out the first time they see the whole thing. But I'm sure you'll be fine. The man who started it was particular about whom he considered family. For your purposes, you only need his direct blood relatives.
Okay.
Anyone related only by marriage is optional. Filling them in can lead to useful discoveries. Lastly, you now have access to some unique websites, plus a list of notable Roottrees. Notable people are easy to find via your search engine, and marked with stars on the family tree.
Okay.
I'm off for now. Carl Roottree had a lot in his office. I'll look for anything useful. I'll return once you identify 6 more blood relatives.
Oh.
Sorry, one last thing. This might sound odd, but if anyone else claiming to represent the Rootrees reaches out, I'd appreciate you not mentioning I was here. Thank you, and good luck.
Okay, so she is suspect. Okay. Farmer. Or wife. Let's see if we can find him. You find, okay. Elias Roottree was the founder and first president of the Roottrees Candy Company. You'll find what is essentially a propaganda site about him created by the Roottrees Candy Company. At the top, there is a picture of him and his wife, Gwyneth. That picture has been added to your evidence. There is also a biography section that has some additional information. Elias is credited for inventing 5 pieces. a popular maple candy. Before that, the farm he inherited by marrying his wife only produced syrup. After 5 pieces became wildly successful, Elias spent his time and energy on cementing his reputation as a family man. He's quoted on the site as saying, "Blood is thicker than syrup, and that any child linked by blood to me shall be linked by blood to my legacy." Okay. The site enthusiastically claims that that he made good on that promise, but offers no additional detail. There are a few more quotes about Elias from a book called Family Man. The Roottrees Legacy by Bess Williams. Okay. Below that, there is a long list of accomplishments and awards, and one stands out. Like his great-grandson, Carl, Elias was voted Watchman of the Year. Okay. Oh, he would be the 4th president. And the name of the mother? Brenda Roottrees. Carl Roottrees died in the recent plane crash along with his wife, Brenda Roottrees. Oh, she was on board as well. And their daughters, the Roottrees sisters. He was the president of the Roottrees Candy Company, as well as the clothing company Root Dot, which he co-founded with his wife. There is a short press release that the Roottrees Candy Company released today to news organizations, December 6th, 1998. It is with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of Carl, Brenda, the Roottrees sisters, and the other employees that perished in the terrible tragedy. The entire Roottrees family is in shock and requesting privacy at this time. As the head of our company, Carl was an incredible man and an unmatched leader. Filling his absence will be difficult and may take considerable time. In the interim, we hope that you join us in looking back fondly on Carl and his family's triumphs and accomplishments. They go on to list some of those accomplishments. One of them seems relevant to your search. Like his great-grandfather before him, Carl earned the highly prestigious Watchman of the Year title. Spider search. Business Watch. Oh, okay. Business Watch magazine is a magazine focused on companies, CEOs, and the economy. They have been around for over 100 years in one form or another and will often write about major changes in management in famous companies. Every year, they offer an award to a prominent businessman who has furthered the field. They call this Watchman of the Year. You find through a few searches that 2 Roottrees have been featured as Watchman of the Year, Elias Roottree and Carl Roottree. Business Watch does not host any online archives on any site you can find via spider search, though you may be able to find individual articles and issues through your periodical search. Okay. Mm-hmm. As the original creator had 5 children. Okay. So, okay, that's fine. Okay, then let's take a look. Carl Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987, and a photo of him appears on the cover. According to the cover, Business Watch is the magazine for and about corporate leaders and has ongoing coverage of who's who in the corporate world. Carl was chosen not for his work at Roottree Candy, but rather a clothing company, Root. There's a brief history. Before they married, Carl's wife Brenda was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mother. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Raina's new clothes were always a hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin, Jim Roottree. Okay, so we've got Jim Roottree, who's a cousin. He's a singer. James Roottrees is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife Diamond LaRue. The duo, according to many sources, you find is considered a one-hit wonder due to the disco song Rollin' On Down to the City. Although Jim writes the majority of songs, plays the guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but has its fans, who refer to themselves as Diamond's Dazzlers. The rest of their music is more folksy and acoustic than the one song that they were known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse, and he hasn't made a public appearance since 1996. Okay. Okay. So he's the great-grandson of Elias Roottrees. Son, grandson, great-grandson. And they have one child. So we're looking for a cousin that has only married once and has one child. For example, this one over here. No, these are, so basically it needs to be one of these ones. Cousin. This one can't have been him. This one can't have been him, so it has to be this one. Because they have at least one child. Jim. And he has one child. He has two, but they have two, but they had one. Okay, so we don't know what the name of the first child is, but they have, or of one of the children is. So there's a first cousin, a second cousin. Mm-hmm. So we've got Ernie Jr. Was a former president of the Roottrees Candy Company. He seemed to directly precede Carl Roottrees, and one website even says that he was Carl's mentor. He was apparently very successful as a president, but not so much as a public figure. He was rarely seen in public and stepped down due to an illness in 1996. He has since passed away. Ernie Jr. What is a second cousin? People that share the same great-grandparents, but not the same grandparents. So, parent, grandparent, great-grandparents. So second cousin somewhere here. Mm-hmm. Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Instead, he has shortened it to Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. is a televangelist who is part of the Miracle Network. He used to have a show that aired on local access across many stations in the northeastern United States. According to a website called Clergy Watch, he was exposed and subsequently charged with conspiracy to defraud the public in 1979. When he claimed to heal someone in a wheelchair. A news expose revealed it was his wife, Edith's sister, in disguise. The author also mentions that Edith had a bit of a checkered past herself, but doesn't clarify. He has since lost his television show and instead goes on tour across the southern United States, where he was not well known before the scandal. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Gwyn Roottrees, you find some information on a website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. Not yet available. The site is not very well organized and the search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Gwyn Roottrees is a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 1950s. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. Her biggest role was the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Gwyn from behind the scenes on one of her movies, which you've added to evidence. Did you know, trivia, Gwyn was the granddaughter of Elias Roottrees, the founder of Roottrees Candy. She shouldn't have been named Roottrees, but her father took her mother's famous name, which was quite rare in those days. So she's a granddaughter. So she could be an aunt as well. So she has to be one of these three. A Lucius Herring Rootree, also known as Red, was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname, ironically, because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only about 6 days. He served what some people contend is the shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position and the Irish people. He then tried to run for state senate. He claimed to be related to the Rootree Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence, and he was defeated in a landslide. Okay. Okie dokie. Red herring, haha, Jim Rootree. James Rootree is a singer who's, okay, we know about this. Okay, so then we go for Diamond LaRue. Can we find anything about her? Okay, that's the same one. Okay. Lauren Rootree. Author Lauren Rootree, a distant relative of the Rootree sisters, is known for her book A Life Between Wars. According to a website about famous authors, in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lawrence Rafferty, to little fanfare. When a publisher learned she had been keeping diaries about a famous family, they insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Rootree, to take advantage of her family's notoriety. The selection of diary entries released in 1965 as A Life Between Wars spans from the untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping with post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspective on changing times and socialites all the way through the entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found new life as an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and for a look into life in previous generations. After the success of her diaries, her publisher re-released her romance novels under the name Lauren Rootree. This included Romance in Court, which gained popularity. She followed the re-release up by writing 2 new sequels, creating what fans refer to as the Court Jester series. You find no recent details about Lauren, though she is listed as retired. Okay. Okay. Published 1965, hardcover, student edition, republished 1993, non-fiction. Rootree Lauren, A Life Between Wars. It seems you've hit the jackpot here. This is a book occasionally taught in schools. You even find a hardcover edition for students that has full-page, high-quality pictures in it. A summary of the contents of the book, photos, as well as some particularly relevant entries from the diary have been added to your evidence. Yay, strike. Okay. Let's see. Gwyn Roottrees. Okay. Lauren's diary contains some labeled pictures. This is the 5 pieces. Caption. The picture was famous in our house. Pop even had it framed. That's him on the left. It was taken in 1935 to celebrate the move to the new warehouse that Eli Jr. designed. Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it and the 3 of us were all about the same age. We were told only the 5 pieces, which really didn't go over well, to say the least. Eventually, I suppose to stop the tantrums, they posed us in front of the camera with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. I found out years later that they never even took a second photo. Lauren's diary contains some labeled pictures. This is the next generation. Caption. In an attempt to recapture the spirit of the 5 pieces photo with our generation, for old time's sake, we gathered in the warehouse, on the warehouse floor. I wanted Eli to stand all the way on the left, since to me he looked a lot like Pop did in the old one. But I was outvoted by my brothers. They insisted the 4 of us stand together. And so we clumped up in the middle and let everyone filter in behind and in front of us. So that's them. So that's the brothers. This is her. This is Lauren. And she's got 3 brothers. One, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't make sense. 5. Okay. Pop even had it framed. That's him on the left. It was taken in 1935 to celebrate the move to the new warehouse that Eli Jr. designed. Eli Jr. That's him. So I suppose this is Miracle. Hmm. Okay, A Life Between Wars, excerpts from the Diaries of a Roottrees, Schoolbound Publishing, Lauren Roottrees. The below are notes and observations you made while skimming through Lauren Roottrees' diary pages in A Life Between Wars. Lauren Roottrees is on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence. She will be marked on the chart with a star. The book was published in 1965 and consists of diary entries that stretch from 1940 to 1965. The most important event that much of the diary and Lauren's thoughts revolve around is the loss of her husband, Jacob. Jacob died in the final months of World War II while Lauren is pregnant. This left her to raise her son, Clark, alone. Lauren never remarried and only had one child. So we are looking for a Roottrees who only had one yeah. So, and it has to be a notable Roottrees. And only has one child. This could be her. This could be her. This Roottrees has one child, and this Roottrees has one child. This is weird because the 5 pieces are the 5 children. None of them is noted as important, as notable. Wait. Did it just say that? Did I just read this right? She raised her child Clark. Oh, she was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Her mother's family was called the Coselles, but she hardly ever mentions them. Head lawyer. Got the clans to trust. Okay, so she is the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Okay, so she is one of these ones. This one is not her because she did not split up. This one could be her. Probably. So I'm gonna say this is her. It's clear from context that the Roottrees have internal shorthand names for the different generations of their family. Lauren uses them often. 5 pieces. The first generation of children by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was in this generation. The next generation, Lauren's generation. The free spirits, the generation after Lauren's, including her son. Okay, so the 5 pieces. Okay. So this is then the mother, and her name is Cosell. Sarah Cosell. This picture was famous in our house. Pop even had it framed. That's him on the left. So this is her father. Okay. So this must be Miracle. But then this can't be it. Because the youngest, because they are always shown in order of, the youngest would be on split up. Doesn't make any sense either. But I guess it could be this one. Because she never split up. She's a notable. But this one should be Miracle Jr. because it says that they are shown in order of, like, from left to right. Now, Miracle is in the picture and he's a child. She would also have been a child because Pop was there. So she would have to be, this should be him. And this is Rootree Lauren. Mm-hmm. So this would be miracle. No. Miracle Junior. This has to be Miracle Junior. No. Miracle Junior needs to be the son of Miracle. Okay, so this is wrong. Can we just delete this? Thank you. Can we just remove this as well? So that makes perfect sense now. I'm really liking this game. Okay, but we've been going on for more than an hour, so let's see if we can actually save and quit. I hope you enjoyed this. This is The Roottrees Are Dead. A very interesting game. I really enjoy it. It's on Steam for 19.50, so €19.50. That's about $19, I would assume. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk soon. Bye.